August 21st, 2019 comes around.
Yeah.
And I say something.
America deserved 9/11, dude. Fuck it. I'm saying it. We fucking totally brought it on ourselves, dude. Holy shit. We did. We fucking did.
I said America deserved 9/11.
Oh, I've seen that clip.
Everyone's seen that clip at this point. I mean, that shit went on Fox News. I remember being fucking terrified. Like, immediately, Keemstar elevated it. Then, people clipped it out. Keemstar escalated it. It just elevated it, put it out there, broad daylight. And in a span of 24 hours, it was on Fox News. It made it to Tucker Carlson. It made it to Laura Ingraham. Laura Ingraham was calling Dan Crenshaw in to respond to it, because I also said some stuff about Dan Crenshaw as well. And I remember thinking I'm killed. I'm gonna be murdered. Well, I'd been getting death threats at that point pretty regularly, but it was on Fox News now.
How many people were watching you when you said that live?
I don't remember, but it wasn't that big. It just
doesn't matter once it's out there.
Yeah,
It's
it doesn't matter. Once you, that's how this works. It doesn't matter. You got 2,000 people, let's say, watching, or 5,000 people, let's say, watching. And then it gets in front of a much larger audience of people that are like, oh, fuck this guy. He's a Muslim socialist guy. He's saying America deserved 9/11. He loves Al-Qaeda. You know what I mean? Which wasn't my point at all. It was actually the opposite. But that made its way to Fox News. And I remember thinking, oh shit, if Fox and Friends covers this in the morning, I know Donald Trump watches Fox and Friends. If Fox and Friends covers this in the morning, I'm fucking screwed, because Donald Trump might tweet about it. And if he does that, I'm dead. They're going to murder me. There's no way I survive that. Right? And it was probably one of the worst weeks, months of my life. It's something that, people still bring all the time, but I don't really give a shit. But at the time, I was still a TYT guy. And so people were sending death threats to everyone at the Young Turks, literally everyone, down to the key grip. You know what I mean? They found anyone and everyone that works at the Young Turks and would dox them and say that they're going to fucking come murder them. That's when I realized maybe I should do this on my own. I don't want other people to be suffering the consequences of my fucking stupid mouth and not being able to fully elaborate on things, or not get clip chimped, really.
What were you trying to get across when you said that comment?
The 20th year, the 20th anniversary of 9/11 really was an interesting moment for me, because everything that I've said on that broadcast, basically things that I already knew, was reinforced through every documentary that came out in that time frame. Talking about our arming and radicalizing of the Mujahideen in the lead up to the civil war in Afghanistan and the USSR invasion of Afghanistan, and how much the CIA very openly elevated these otherwise random groups of militants into a viable and robust anti-Soviet violent force. They did it through Islamic fundamentalism that they instilled upon people and legitimized. And then some of those groups became the Taliban, right? They started infighting. Some of those groups became the Taliban, and America was directly involved in this, and very openly, even before Ronald Reagan famously brought them to the White House and said the Mujahideen reminded him of the founding fathers. So that's what I was talking about, because it was in response to what Dan Crenshaw was saying about how, 9/11 happened because they hate us. They hate us because they hate us. That's it. And it was very frustrating for me to see a dude who served overseas, got his eye blown out, right? To come back and just keep reinforcing that same cycle of violence. And even using his veteran status as a way to just send more men and women overseas to get their shit blown off for no fucking reason. You know what I mean?
So you're saying they have a reason to dislike us, but not deserving to happen to innocent people?
Yes, I never meant that. Obviously, the 3,000 people that died on 9/11 deserve to die. That's fucking ridiculous. I was simply talking about America's chickens coming home to roost. You know what I mean? This is at least in academic circles or even in most circumstances, this is something that like every American kind of understands and recognizes. You know what I mean? Like we constantly fuck their shit up over there. Eventually, some of those guys are gonna come back and like do a little bit of whiplash, like come back and strike back, right? That was the point. Many such examples. It's a concept called blowback, and I think the way that the media actually started covering in the 20th anniversary of 9/11 and the Afghan invasion reflected all of the talking points that I was making at the time. Which is why I had a lot of people actually come back and be like, listen, I misunderstood what you were saying at the time, but I totally get it now.
By the way, this clip is brought to you by our sponsor, Epidemic Sound. They have a library of so many soundtracks and sound effects to use that you're not going to have to worry about copyright strikes. So if you're interested, the link is down below in the description. We've been using them for years. Would highly recommend them. Enjoy.